Well, we are on our way to the dumpster with some of nature's anti-nutrients. You care to explain?
Oh boy, people probably think we're freaking nuts, but
We are.
We are becoming carnivores, keto/carnivores, and after careful consideration and much research and learning what so-called fruits and vegetables, which most people think is healthy for you, is actually doing, is robbing you of your nutrients. They have a particular chemical in it that creates crystallization in your body, which leads to all the diseases that you're seeing today. And they're trying to blame the dairy, they're trying to blame the beef industry and animal products, when the culprit is fruits, vegetables, processed foods, grains, breads, pasta, so forth and so on.
So what we're doing here is we're throwing all of this food/poison away because we found out that what we thought was giving us, health and vitality was actually hurting us. And it's one thing to think. It's almost like, you have a spy in the camp and there's like a traitor and you're like, wait a second, not you, not the one we trusted, so here we are. We're at the dumpster. We're throwing away all of those carbs and vegetables, and we had celery, we had grapefruit, we had blackberries, we had, nature's bounty from the garden. And yeah, so now we are going to be eating a much more simpler diet.
Carnivore.
Yes,
Beef,
we're going to be more
eggs,
carnivore.
milk.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like not just like milk, but like whole milk that has fat, like saturated fat, right? I mean, because saturated fat is something that we've both been afraid of.
Yeah, because they make you believe that it is bad for you, but in actuality, it's the kind of fat that your brain needs. And this is why we have such a growing number of mental illness. And everybody's on some sort of anti-anxiety, anti-depression. And it's not because of your own chemistry, but it's because of what's being induced by what you're putting inside your body.
So what you're doing by eating what they say is like good for you is really the opposite.
Totally.
I mean, the inverse is true. The Bible tells you, like in Genesis, that you should eat of every grain and every fruit, and stuff. So typically, if the Bible says to do it,
do the opposite. Actually, there's a lot of people like Jordan Peterson and a whole slew of people that have gotten rid of health issues and improved their skin, improved their gums, gotten rid of snoring, all sorts of gingivitis, all sorts of stuff that is caused by all the grains and all the sugars that you're putting in your body. And your body.
Hold a second. A moment.
Yeah, don't give the number.
A moment for our saguaro friend.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful cactus.
Yeah, totally. And we'll talk more about it. We'll put a show together or a thing regarding more science. Oh, wow.
It's beautiful. We get to enjoy the snow without living in it.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know if they could see that.
I don't know if you could see that, but
Those mountains have snow in them.
up there, I don't know. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
That's the kind of view we've got. That's the kind of
We
view
did
we've
get
got.
to see a little bit of it.
That's good.
So
It's nippy today, a little cold.
it's cold.
We went
It's
to
not
see
just-
Jumanji,
Yeah.
and we went
Gotta
to
get the key.
the Golden
Open
Corral
the door.
and feasted on pork.
How long has it been since you had pork?
goodness.
Oh wait, let me show you guys. Look at that. Is that not spectacular? And I'm not talking about the satellite dish. That
mountain.
is Jurassic Park, everybody.
Yeah.
That's Jurassic Park. Oh, it's cold, so I'm gonna put the key in here. Get ourselves warmed up.
So yeah, we went to the Golden Corral, and we had ourselves lots of beef.
Great. This is great.
Pork, beef.
Yes, we had sirloin. We had, what else did we have? We had, let me see what else.
Chicken. We had pork. We had prime
Pork.
rib.
I had some shredded beef.
Yeah.
We had
Sausage.
some really good food.
Hibachi sausage or something.
I don't know what.
I didn't really
It
care
was
for
more
it.
of a,
Yeah, I didn't care
Yeah.
for it too much.
but it was good. I mean, all of it was
And
good.
deviled eggs and stuff like that. So, but
Devil's eggs. The devil makes eggs.
yeah, he makes eggs. I'm just totally psyched out to drinking whole milk, to have as many eggs as I want, and to eat
If I could put
as
this in
much. Is it gonna fall?
I don't know.
All right, there we go.
That's
You
good.
can eat as much as you want because they've been telling you to worry about your cholesterol. Your brain is made up of mostly cholesterol. So
And
what's
that's
happening?
been demonized.
And
People
so
have
what's
been
happening
telling-
is because we're not eating what we need to fortify our brain, our bodies are producing it in high numbers. And people think that that's bad. You need that for hormonal balance. You need cholesterol. You need to eat saturated fat. We're being lied to people. Really look into it. Don't believe what we're saying.
Oh yeah.
You
No.
know, you're going
I
to
mean,
see the picture of health, the changes.
Yeah.
You know, it's just going to be remarkable. I'm not trusting the system anymore because this whole veganism push to get you to eat plant-based foods that aren't real. Just think of Soylent Green.
soy,
Yeah,
lent,
and- yeah,
green,
yeah.
soy.
Yeah.
Soy's a big part
yeah.
of the vegan movement.
GMO products and corns and breads and all sorts of stuff. That's what's actually hurting you.
And that's what is really exciting about this particular way of eating is that it's so simple.
Yeah.
You know, there's
We're gonna
like
get ourselves a barbecue and it's just like throw a bunch of stuff there and eat till you're full. Like today, you can't even make a pig out of yourself.
you can't.
You can't.
It's impossible.
Yeah, it's like after you eat a certain, you're like,
You're like, oh, push
okay,
it away.
yeah, I'm done.
I mean,
now.
it's good and all, but
yeah,
the
yeah,
body
you're-
has a way to say, enough.
you've
you
had
know,
enough.
We're done
Yeah,
for today.
but when you eat carbs, it's like there's a never-ending button. There isn't one. You want to keep, even though you're full and food's coming out of your ears, you keep stuffing down your throat because it's an addiction. Sugar is one of the biggest drugs ever.
But one of the biggest things that I just was shocking to hear was the fact that these vegetables, these fruits that we so think are our friends, that are, you know, Mother Nature and all this from the ground and the goodness of the bounty of the earth and stuff, it's got these mechanisms not only to protect itself so it makes things poisonous, but also disables the ability for food to
You become malnourished.
be able to be
Yeah.
nourishing.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna eat beef or something,
It takes away
it takes away from the
that nourishment.
nutrients.
So it's crazy, folks. And what was it so interesting? They talked about this one doctor regarding how a bunch of these kids, the difference between yesterday and the reason we have so much OCD, ADHD, and autism is because of the malnourishment, you know, that's taking place.
Yeah.
That from all these plant-based people are eating less beef,
Right.
and they're eating more soy, and they're eating more grains, and they're getting brain, and all sorts of different things like that, and causing all sorts of neurological impairment because it's neurologic toxin.
We were watching or listening to a podcast by one of our favorite vegan doctors that, you know, that was out there doing, you know, we used to really push it to the carb, like loading type diet called, you know, the grain, what is it, like eating starches, the
Right.
starch diet.
Right.
He's big on that.
Yeah.
Dr. McDougall. And wow, the way he was treating these guests, or
And the way he was acting, he was like, he
was
really
just
lost
like
his mind.
really
Yeah.
rude and not very kind at all,
And not coherent whatsoever. His
Right.
words are just like not making any sense.
And I think it gets to a point sometimes with that type of eating where those influences of those foods are really affecting your
Neurological, because they're
logical-
neurotoxins, as I mentioned earlier. They
Mhm.
toxify. They don't allow the proper chemical releases and the electrical components, because your brain is a magnificent electrical system. And if you're not feeding it what it needs, and it needs DHA, and you can't get DHA with vegetables, you could only get it with beef, with
That's it.
salmon, with animal protein. And so veganism, although it's told that people get healthier, it appears so in the beginning because people stop eating what we call the SAD diet. It's the standard American diet. And if you stop eating processed food and sugars and junk and you just go to a plant-based, of course you're going to see improvement. But then that improvement is going to halt. And then the damage that's being done by the plant-based, which voids you of all nourishment, because that's what plants do. They release a chemical. And it's called oxidate. And what it does is it crystallizes things in your body, and it prevents you from absorbing, digesting, and it just creates a whole slew of neurological problems. And we'll talk more about that as I do more research on it and bring you guys more information.
Yeah, so right now we're just really getting, introduced. You just got into a group that's on Facebook, and we're really getting introduced to a lot of these elementary principles of carnivoreism or whatever they call it.
Carnivoreism, yep.
Yeah, so
Which means you basically just eat mostly beef.
doing the opposite
Yeah.
of what we used to do, right?
Mostly beef and water.
We're doing like the opposite. It's like I remember, the thought of having any kind of beef at all or any kind of meat was always like, oh no. And now today we bought pork chops, we bought
hamburger
beef
patties,
round steak, we bought hamburger patties, we bought
eggs and milk, and
whole eggs,
heavy whipped cream, because we're not getting up a coffee, so
right.
we just gotta have the coffee with heavy whipped cream and our stevia, which is keto approved. So yeah, exciting things. I'm looking forward to like getting rid of all the back. I have a very bad back. My back has got herniation on several levels, and it's very painful. But I have a very high pain tolerance, and not to mention my shoulder. So I'm looking forward to detoxifying my body, doing what this diet is, an elimination diet, and all you eat is just, simple things like beef, milk, and all the pork and all the animal stuff, and it's and dairy and I'll see, because if I have to eliminate the dairy, I will too. But I know that my body's going to feel a massive change, because all the other stuff you're putting in creates inflammation, and inflammation is a disaster, and it can create cancer and all sorts of other problems like Alzheimer's. They're actually calling Alzheimer's diabetes 3. There's a lot of things that people don't know about, and you're just listening to the conventional stuff that they're pushing on you. But you need to really open up your eyes and do a lot of research, and don't just follow blindly what people are saying, because that's what I did for years as a certified nutrition consultant. I feel cheated and lied to, because I'm seeing that what I've been told is based on all lies. So
yeah, it's like you're told that if you have regular bowel movements throughout the day, that's healthy for you, but you got to think about this, and the fact being, why would you have to have bowel movements every day
and throughout the day with all that fiber?
If the food is nutritiously nourishing you, then why would it need to be expelled out of your body? I mean, you never find like a piece of meat in the toilet. You always find like a little bits of corn
or any kind of fiber,
or kale, or different things like that. Or if you eat a fibrous type of we're told, eat your oats and vegetables and grains and stuff. They keep you regular and all that. Well, we came to find out that meat actually is absorbed. It's like totally taken in by the body and utilized, so that
there's not
But
that much
movements
waste product.
don't have to come out.
And there's
right?
not that much waste because the body utilizes it. Unlike
It's
with
amazing.
fiber, you're creating a lot of disruption and a lot of what do you call it? An irritant, and it irritates. That's why people are gassy, are bloated. When you go on a carnivorous diet, one of the pluses is you no longer get bloated. Your stomach becomes flat. Your body starts to run like a fine machine. And I know there's people, but you need your veggies. Do you realize that the vegetables that you're eating aren't even real? The majority of them are GMO. They're like chemically altered, as is oils, vegetable oils, and all these things. I mean, it's really interesting, folks, when you really start digging deep and following that rabbit hole, what you're going to find.
I mean, what more of an ingenious way to get to a population than through grains?
Through your food supply.
Get them through the breakfast meal. Whether you eat cereal or you eat healthy, nutritious oatmeal, it doesn't matter. It's like they pump these GMOs into the foods.
And people are so like one-minded about food, constantly thinking about what's my next meal, what's whatever. And that's not normal. You're wasting all this energy and time preparing food, thinking about food, going grocery shopping. It's really, it's part of that neurosis that they're trying to instill within you and making you sick, because you don't realize that what you put in your mouth and in your system is what's going to, the byproduct of it is what's going to, show in your health. So
it's amazing to think that we've been, told things that just aren't true, that we believed them for so long.
I know.
And although you can get better, if you depart in any way from a sad diet, from a standard American diet of refined processed foods and, eating junk, basically, you will get healthier, but it's not because you're a vegan that you're getting healthier. It's because you've cut out some of the things that you aren't eating anymore.
Right. But then vegans, long term, their bodies become malnourished because the plants that you're eating are robbing you of the nutrients. That's what they do. That's their self-defense mechanism. And in a long period of time, majority of vegans can't be vegans anymore. And they, even after they try supplementing with B12 and all sorts of vitamins. So what diet is a good diet if you have to constantly be supplementing? Something's wrong there. And that's from all the grains and all the beans and these are all food items that will cause disruption in your nervous system, in your mental health system, and in your entire biology. So think about it, folks. Really,
and up until like yesterday, I was trying to hold out with some, lettuce or simple things that you could add to eating, supplementing your meat with and stuff. And I was like, oh, lettuce, onions, tomatoes, oh, come on, what was the big deal? And the fact is that Jordan Peterson mentioned it, and some other psychiatrists and research women mentioned it and said that these are the last vestiges that these things hold out, so that if you give them some kind of place of refuge within your body, that they're going to find a place to utilize those things that they need, so
and rob you of the nutrients because it's like parasites. These plant foods literally are like parasites, and they will find a way to kill the host, to malnourish the host, and to continue to spread their species. So it's almost like alien, in nature. And I know that it sounds crazy, but the more and more you think about it, and the more and more you see that a lot of these vegans out there long term, they have all sorts of problems, thyroid issues, they become overweight, or malnourished, one of the two. And it's just not healthy. It's just not healthy.
Sugar is one of those things that really is the juggernaut, because sugar is kind of like the main culprit for causing inflammation, causing all kinds of neurological issues within the body and stuff.
Definitely.
So yeah, we're really just, our eyes are just wide open, and we're always wanting to learn, never tired of kicking over another rock and chasing down another path and stuff, and seeing what's on the other side of that mountain, I mean, it's Yeah.
And it's been hard for me because I used to believe balance was a good thing. You need a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but unfortunately, that balance could kill you
Yeah.
because you're eating foods. If you're eating grains and breads and pastas and plant-based foods, that will rob you of your health and will minimize the nutrients that you can get. And a piece of beef has all the nutrients that you need because it's been made there. That's how our brain got bigger. That's how we created what we are today, was through eating animal protein, not plant-based, animal protein.
And our brain is mostly fat.
Yeah.
So when we live our lives depriving ourselves of probably one of the most important macronutrients that we could supplement with is to nourish ourselves with healthy saturated fats. And I know it sounds, kind of like antithetical to what we've been taught to understand and believe. We need to realize that, this is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
The brain is mostly fat.
Yeah.
So what does the brain want?
Yeah.
It functions with fat.
Right.
Hormonal regulations with fat.
Right. And although people say that the brain needs glucose to function, it's become an addict to glucose, but the brain needs fats in order to stay healthy, in order to have that proper electrical output and input and connection between the synapses, the neurotransmitters. You're one big electrical set. And sugar, just think of pouring a bag of sugar in your computer or whatever electrical component is going to short it out. And that's the same thing that's happening. And that's what fruits, vegetables, simple carbs, complex carbs, any kind of carbs. And let's not get talking about roots and potatoes and all that stuff. That stuff is pure poison. You're not meant to eat that. So, you do your homework, you do what you need to do. This is what we're doing, and we want to share with you. We're not recruiting carnivores or anything like that. We're just sharing our experience with you guys, and we're excited. We're excited to see the many health benefits that we're looking to have, by eating this way.
One of the things that I didn't realize ever up until just the other day was that there is one macronutrient out there out of the three that is absolutely not essential. Guess which macronutrient that is? Can you believe it? The one that everybody loves the most. What is it?
Carbohydrates.
Carbohydrates are not even necessary for our functioning.
No.
And that's a lot to take in, to understand that a carb isn't really required by your body.
But in your system, think about it, as you age, after you get to the age of 35, you start a catabolic process. Your muscle starts to go down, and you got to wonder why that is. You need ATP, which is the energy source in the cell of the muscle, and that is gotten by either drinking creatine or eating the meats that has loaded with creatine. So as you age, you need to be able to exercise and eat good quality protein to maintain good quality health. And that's the name of the game, folks.
So the protein is something that is essential for us to be able to rebuild and to keep our bodies functioning and able to be actively useful on this planet. If we don't eat protein, our muscles won't grow. Our muscles won't reinforce themselves, and it's our armor.
It is our armor. It's our immune system. And just think about what's happening this day and age. People are eating less and less meat than before, and we're getting sicker and sicker, and they're pushing this plant-based diet on you. And that's what alarmed me. After a while, I'm like, what's with this Beyond Burger everywhere? Why are they doing this?
Even the fast food joints are getting in on it.
Kentucky Fried Chicken
Del Taco,
has
Carl's Jr.
Some sort of fake chicken. And that's not food, folks. That's not how we got here. That's not how our brains got built. So think about it. Be careful. Be mindful. Don't believe everything you're hearing. And we have to stick with what's true and true. And what's true and true is that we were raised on dairy. We were raised on beef, and that's what gave us the health. All of a sudden, when they started taking the butter away from us and creating Crisco oils and creating all sorts of fake margarine and now fake meats, fake vegetables, fake things,
This is dangerous. This is dangerous, and we have to be mindful. And all in the name of the planet, and that's the martyr, you know, that they're trying to get you to feel sorry for, so that they can move this order in, you know.
And that's the incredible thing, is that it's pushing us into this age of artificiality.
Yeah.
You know, artificial foods, artificial flavors,
Yeah.
artificial sweeteners,
Yeah.
artificial
Everything's
this and
artificial.
that. You know,
And you need
even like the typical banana that you eat at that you find at the grocery store is called the Cavendish banana. They ran out of a certain type of banana. They had to replenish it somewhere in the 20th century with a different type of banana, because they basically got it to not be able to function correctly.
Right. I think the battery's running low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's so much more that we want to share, and I'm sure that we're going to be sharing a lot more on our shows and stuff with regards to the carnivore diet. And we're super excited,
Yeah.
you know, because this is a new way. Again, at the end of the year, a new thing going on with
As
the
always,
Cummings.
the Cummings, yes.
So,
All right, guys. Love you.
But
Remember
remember to always love yourselves too.
Bye-bye.
thirsty.